Hey, you beautiful souls. Now we are going to start with the next section of this book, Ask and It Is Given, An Introduction to Abraham by Esther Hicks. So here, Jerry wants his wife, Esther, to go and meet the lady who talks with spirit. So in the first paragraph, Jerry wanting to convince Esther is not interested, and there is an appointment he wants to make, and that's all being talked about here. So Esther is not interested, but Jerry wants to go because he has many questions. Then what it talks about is when Jerry is talking about this lady who talks with spirit, but Esther is not interested. So here Esther is telling that they never had an argument. They never had an argument, but during this kind of a conversation where Jerry's interested in talking to spirits, knowing about that world, where Esther is not keen, they always have an argument. 20 years earlier, when there's an Ouija board about it, when Jerry's been sharing experiences, then always and always Esther would disappear. She would not want to sit and listen to those stories about spirits, about ghosts, so she is like very much shown her disinterest always. So Jerry eventually stopped telling those stories when Esther was around. Then further, this book talks about that Esther is not a religious girl, but she's attended various Sunday schools. Sunday schools are basically Sunday school classes are held in church for Christians, and there she picked up the strong fear of evil, the devil. So she said that she's always been God fearing about devils and evils. So that she picked up from the Sunday school. So she devoted a greater proportion of our classes teaching us fear of evil. So she's had that notion in her mind that in Sunday schools they are teaching them about the fear of devil. Then once she watched the movie Exorcist about ghosts and everything, so she was very much, saw a horrible scene, and then she's really not keen. And whenever she heard a sound, strong sound somewhere, she would have nightmares for weeks. So that's why she was having fear and she didn't want to meet that lady. Then Jerry told her that her name is Sheila, the one who talks to spirits, and then he made an appointment. Then Jerry was keen on asking so many questions, so he was writing down all his questions. He had a lot of questions to be asked. So then they were driving to that place. There was a beautiful house in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona, and there they were going, but as Esther said, she was totally, totally blank. But Jerry had lots of questions. But the moment they reached the house was large, very beautiful, and had a feeling of sort of reverence, like being in church. So when she reached there, she felt that she had that feeling of, kind of bowing down or some kind of a respect to that place because it was having a feeling of a church. So the moment they entered, there were few assistants and all, but the moment they started that interaction, when the assistant explained that Sheila was going to relax and release her consciousness, and then Theo, a non-physical entity, would address us. So Sheila would be going off to kind of a nap, become unconscious kind of a thing, and Theo is her spiritual guide, Sheila's spiritual guide, who will take over and talk to them. After that, we'll be able to talk anything we desired. That's what Jerry and Esther got to know. So then Sheila laid on the bed, and then there was an unusual sounding voice abruptly saying, "It's the beginning. So, you have any questions? Then Jerry started asking questions. So, he asked questions rapidly, one after the other. So, the moment their 30 minutes passed, time was over, and they were kind of satisfied with what answers they got from Theo. But when they were back in the car, Esther told Jerry that I really like to come back tomorrow. There are some things I would not like to ask. I would now like to ask. So she told Jerry to take another appointment. And the moment they had their next day's discussion with Theo, so then Esther asked Theo, how can we more effectively achieve our goals? And what the answer came was meditation and affirmations. This is really, really important. The answer came meditation and affirmation. Esther was not, kind of interested in meditation. It did not appeal to her. But still, she asked, what do you mean by meditation? And then the answer came through Sheila from Theo is that sit in a quiet room, wear comfortable clothing, and focus on your breathing. As your mind wanders, and it will, release the thought and focus upon your breathing. It would be good for you to do it together. It will be more powerful. So that's what she got. And then she asked Theo, could you give us an affirmation that would be of value for us to use? So then she asked for the affirmation from Theo. And the affirmation Theo gave is I, say your name as it was done by Esther. So she could say, I, Esther, see and draw to me through divine love those beings who seek enlightenment through my process. The sharing will elevate us both now. So the affirmation was like that I see and draw to me through divine love those beings who seek enlightenment through my process. The sharing will elevate us both now. Then this was a feeling which penetrated to the core of her being. As per the words of Sheila and Theo, Esther says, I felt them penetrate to the core of my being. And her fear had gone. Jerry and I both felt wonderful. So then they was having a discussion that should they bring their daughter also, but it was told that she will get her inspiration on her own. You focus on what is told to you. So next question which came from Sheila's assistant, she asked them that would you like to know the name of your spiritual guide? So that time Esther was very excited and said, yes, please, could you tell me the name of my spiritual guide? Then Theo said that we are told it will be given to you directly. You will have a clairaudient experience and you will know. So then the clairaudient experience she was not aware of. So where Theo said with the tone of finality, God's love unto you, that answer was not given. And after they left the house, they moved back, and when they returned home, they had two powerful new intentions. What was it? That I was going to meditate, whatever in the world that meant, and I was going to find out the name of my spiritual guide. So, this was the two determined thought Esther came back with, that she's going to meditate regularly and she's going to find out the name of her spiritual guide. What was the instruction of Theo? Sit in a quiet room, wear comfortable clothing, and focus on your breathing. So, what did they do? And they had to do it together, both of them. together, Jerry and Esther. So they had set an alarm for 15 minutes, closed their eyes, bring their consciousness to the breath, and kept asking the question, who is my spiritual guide? And started counting the breath. Initially, she enjoyed sitting, felt relaxed, and when the timer got over, she said, let's do it again. She's put another timer, then another 15 minutes timer. So, this is what she's been doing. And very important here is this was a long process. It did not happen in a day. It took time to sit, to meditate, and then to reach that state. So another timer was set, and then once while meditating, her teeth chattered like never before. I had experienced my first contact with Ibrahim. She felt that there was some external, some body who was there within her, and she felt that experience was good, and I wanted to have happening. And then, right before Thanksgiving of 1985, Esther's head began to move gently from side to side. For next few days, during meditation, the head would move. So that movement was a sign that Abraham wants to talk. Then she said, I'm spelling letters from my nose. That she felt. And in her body, from head to toe, there is some non physical energy she's feeling. And after a while, she wrote from her nose, I am Abraham. I am your spiritual guide. So they refer to themselves in plural because they are a collective consciousness. So Abraham is saying, I am, but it is a collective consciousness. So they, it's in plural form, which is a stream of consciousness together to help and guide the physical beings. So that's what was told to Esther, that we are multidimensional and multifaceted and certainly multi-consciousness. So that's what Esther felt, that I hear the words as they are spoken through me, but during the translation process itself, I have no awareness of what is coming, a time of recollection of what has already come. So Abraham explained that they had been offering these blocks of thoughts to me for quite some time. So Esther got to know through Abraham that they've been sending these words. When your mind wanders, and it will, release the thought and focus on your breathing. So she was sticking to the Theo's instruction that if the mind wanders, if something else comes up, bring back to breathing. But there, during that gap, during that space, Abraham was talking to her, but she was thinking it that she is getting distracted. So I guess the only way they could go through me was to spell letters in air with nose, and then she felt that sensation which rippled through her body. But then one night she felt very strong sensation moving through her arms, hands, and fingers, and her hands thumping on Jerry's chest as they lay in bed together watching television. Then she felt of getting a typewriter, on which she started putting her fingers quickly, moving her fingers quickly, and she typed a specific letter. Every letter, every number, again and again she was typing, and the answer was, which was she able to read, I am Abraham, I'm your spiritual guide. I'm here to work with you. I love you. We will write a book together. So there and then Abraham declared that we are going to write a book together. So that is something very, very interesting. So I'm going to read this. What was the first message which clearly she wrote is, I am Abraham. I am your spiritual guide. I'm here to work with you. I love you. We will write a book together. So the first time only she was told that we will write a book together. And they told that we are plural, we are many consciousness together. So we are spiritual guides. It's not single spirit, there are many. So they were so intelligent, so loving, and so available. And they were here to talk to us about anything that we wanted to discuss. So one afternoon, when they were driving on a Phoenix freeway, so there was a two big trucks, and they were trying to pass through that. And immediately, Abraham spoke through Esther's mouth, which came out as take the next exit. So they took the next exit and they could be saved. As per Esther, this was Abraham talking to her. And then why this happened to her? She felt that this had happened in fairy tales. I could not believe because I was not a religious person. But what she thought is that she was very clear hearted and she was natural. So Abraham thought of picking her up. And Jerry had a lot of questions. So, in a way, Jerry would be asking questions to her, and then that's what it is. Abraham had explained that the reason why Jerry and I are the perfect combination for doing this work together is because Jerry's powerful desire summoned Abraham, while my absence of opinions or angst made me a good receiver for the information that Jerry was surmounting. So he was the receiver and will pass on. So Jerry was so enthusiastic because he wanted to have the first interaction with Abraham. So he was very, very clear about the depth and the wisdom of the spiritual guides and lots and lots of excitement. He was getting so overwhelmed. But I told Jerry not to promote this to people, not to be just talking to everyone, but he could not keep the promise. And then I always wanted this thing in my life, this inspiration. Then they created books, videos, audio series, workshops, and websites, and people are asking questions. And the most often people are thanking Abraham and they say, thank you for helping me remember what I've somehow always known. And this has helped me tie together all the pieces of truth that I've found along the way. This has helped me make sense of everything. Abraham is not about guiding anyone towards or away from anything. We want you to make all your decisions about your desires. Our only desire for you is that you discover the way to achieve your desires. So this is what Abraham is here for. And there is an introduction on the website. There is many videos. You can go and check. Lots and lots of question answers videos also there. And Abraham said, Esther, we are aware of the questions that are radiating from the mass consciousness of your planet, and through you we will joyously offer the answers. Relax and enjoy the delicious unfolding of this book. So whatever this book is all about is through Esther, and answers are all given by Abraham. So we will be starting with part 1, that is the next chapter of this book, next